the final with Luke, you know, it was viewed by I think 4.8 million people. You know, it's the second most viewed sporting event on Sky Sport, like sport apart from football.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you know, it was insane, and I think the numbers sort of went up throughout the whole of this year as well for like the Premier League, and you know that's obviously massively to do with Luke, but that comes on me as well. You know, everybody see me win that final that everybody viewed. So, a lot of them were obviously viewing into watch to see if Luke was going to complete the unbelievable thing of being a 16-year-old world champion. But you know, it benefited me as well. And
how's your life changed the most after becoming world champion? Now, Luke, you were a roofer for a few years, was it? How long were you a roofer?
I was a roofer since I was 17. I think I stopped doing that at 23, so about 6 years nearly.
Really? Yeah. Cool. I love getting into to people's old jobs before they do. So were you really good at that as well then? Were you like, could you have been world champion roofer?
Can you imagine the world championship? I was actually pretty good, to be fair.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was... I mean, it was everyone thinks about roofers, they think of like tiled roofs. So I wasn't doing tiled roofs. I was doing flat roofs and using hot felts and stuff, which is dangerous. You know, if you splatter it up on your skin, it'll burn you. So
have you done that before?
Yeah, I have. You know, I got a few scars on my hand, like one there, which obviously, can you see it slightly?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it scars you. You know, most of my hairs here have been singed so much because I use like it's called a gas torch, but like it's like a flamethrower basically, in what you could think of.
You're sexy, aren't you?
Yeah, really, yeah.
Like,
And I used to do that, and obviously, you know, there's so much. Can you imagine that? Like, but on the serious note, yeah, I did that, and it was a dangerous job, heavy lifting, but I'm glad I did it because it gave me that sort of realization, and that I, you know, when I've got to be thankful for what I'm doing now.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
If you sort of come into darts and you never had that hard grafting job, and it kind of makes you appreciate what you've got now.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. I was talking to my dad yesterday. I was actually talking to him about you.
Yeah.
And did I say my dad or granddad then?
You said your dad.
Oh, I was talking to my granddad.
Yeah.
And I was just having a little moment of reflection and how lucky I am to do a show like this and get to sit down with people like you. And he actually said to me, he went, "Son, the best job you ever did was when I went to work on a pigsty with him when I was about 15.
Oh, really?
We were fixing a roof of this pit and it stunk as shit and I hated it. And I was just like, I'd done the day and I was like, don't want to do that anymore. And like, no disrespect to people who do that, but that taught me like, I'm not a person who can do hard graft.
But someone has to do it, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
exactly,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
And my granddad, he's like, he loves it. Do you know what I mean? He's still he turned 80 yesterday, and he's still out there doing it. But
Really?
it's good, but it's good to see that you've got that appreciation for hard graft.
I mean, like obviously you scroll through TikTok, and I was seeing like them people that go down on the oil rigs and stuff.
Yeah.
like welders in the thing.
Yeah,
Thinking,
it's mad that.
Yeah.
how do you have the guts to do that?
Yeah.
Like to want to do that, but someone has to do that.
Yeah.
Someone has to do that job, and like that's why you have so much respect for the ambulance service and stuff like that, because they see so many horrible things.
Yeah.
They don't get paid enough, and the army personnel, they don't get paid enough, and all these type of things, and they still go on and do it, which makes you, you know, appreciate and admire how great them sort of people really are.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So you're up there on the roofs, and you're playing darts on the side. It must have been quite a gamble to like pack in this job that you'd done for so long and try and pursue, which was a hobby for a long time, and make that your job. At what point did you think this could happen now? I could be a darts player.
I think for me it was a lot of an easier decision than it would have been for most people nowadays, because you know I'd just got my tour card and I was still living at home, and you know I sort of was sensible with my money, so I had a good bit of decent money in the bank.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, you know, if it all went wrong, if I give up my job, I've still got a job to go back to. I still live at home, you know, all these things. So it was kind of like a free roll for me, as you like. You know, if you've got a family and you've got a mortgage, and you can't take that risk as easy as like people can nowadays. So for me, it wasn't as hard as you probably think. And I thought, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to have to do it full pelt. You know, I don't want to like do it half-hearted, because you never know if you ever get that chance to be a tour card holder again. So I took the plunge, and it all worked out so well for me. My first year, obviously, that was when I beat Rob Cross, the reigning champion at the time, made 50 grand. And then, that was a nice bit of lump sum in your bank again. Then it's like, okay, well, I can go another year quite easily now. And then I did it again, made the quarterfinals again, another 50 grand, obviously winning money in between that as well.
Yeah.
And then you're well over in six figures in your bank account then as a whole. And you kind of like, okay, well, then there's no pressure on me now.
Yeah.
I could probably have another 5 to 10 years without having to worry.
What was that like when that first payment hit?
Bloody lovely. Really nice. It's,
wow.
You look at it and you think, Jesus, you got 50 grand that's just been put in there. Obviously, you have to pay management and obviously tax in the end, but you sort of get about 65% of it in the end, maybe 70 if you're lucky.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. It really was, drive you. Thought, okay, this is amazing. 50 grand. I want to keep doing this, and then I did it a couple of times in the future again, maybe not at that much, but you get like sponsors coming in then and they're paying you like, then days like 5-10 grand for each sponsor, and you're kind of getting like £40,000, 40,000 pounds on your shirt before you've even thrown a dart.
Wow.
And this was like 7 years ago, like 7 years ago. So that's already a year's salary. Winning anything.
Yeah.
So that's comfortability. Whereas now it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Silly money, and, when you see that 500,000 going from the Worlds, that is a like, whoa.
That's mad.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How's your life changed the most after becoming world champion?
Yeah.
What changes have you had in your life? Like when you go on the tube now, do people know who you are? Was there a big shift?
Yeah, there was a massive shift. Obviously, the final with Luke, it was viewed by I think 4.8 million people. It's the second most viewed sporting event on Sky Sport, like sport apart from football.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was insane, and I think the numbers sort of went up for the whole of this year as well for the Premier League, and that's obviously massively to do with Luke, but that comes on me as well. Everybody see me win that final that everybody viewed. So, a lot of them were obviously viewing into watch to see if Luke was going to complete the unbelievable thing of being a 16-year-old world champion. But it benefited me as well, and I feel like since then I've gained a lot of praise and a lot of backlash as well. I think a lot of people
What would you get backlash for?
I just think because I beat him, it happens a lot. Like if you're doing an exhibition, you just have people shouting at you in the thing like, "Oh, Luke, he's better than you. He's better than you." And I was just like, if he's better than me, that's fine. I don't care, But you get so much like abuse, and it's like people shouting out at you, and it's like I don't care if you think he's better. That's fine by me. Like I'm just here to do an exhibition and chant the crowd, like to give the crowd a bit of enjoyment. I think that's the only negative part about being slightly famous in the darting world, but most of the time it's all really good. And like you go and shopping, some people just don't even ask for a picture, say, "Can I just shake your hand?" Because inspiration and stuff is really, really nice, that sort of stuff. Some people are like, "Oh, I don't want to bother you for a photo." It's like, no problem. I don't mind. It's a privilege for me to do something like that. So, it's anytime that someone asks me for a photo, I never deny it because I feel like it's a privilege, and I'm very lucky that people want that.
That's exactly how I feel, and I'm nowhere near your level. So for you to have that humility at that level is unreal. Just going back to the negative aspect of it a little bit, because I don't think I know when I was probably 16, 17, I'm 31 now, I was probably tweeting footballers your shit and stuff like that, like not understanding that they're real people behind it. Like, so when you're up there on the stage, whether it be one of the smaller ones or the World Championship final, have you ever been affected by somebody in the crowd? Has somebody ever got to you? Do the words hit you?
Yeah, I have before actually. I can't remember what tournament I was in, but I just had one guy. I think it was a Premier League actually. I think I was playing Luke.
Was that this year then?
Yeah. I just remember one guy just. I mean, I can't really say the words on camera. They're quite horrible to be honest. But like saying the C word quite a lot. Like just calling me every time. You're a C word. You're a C. You're a C. Constantly and just trying to put me off all the time. And I kind of looked out to him and like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, grow up. You're 40 years old.
Yeah.
I looked out to him. I was like, grow up, mate. Can you imagine your sort of 12-year-old son, his dad's out there screaming and shouting and swearing at a dart player when, I could expect that from a 15-year-old kid, not a 40-year-old man.
Yeah.
So, the negative side, and that weren't nothing to do with Luke. That was just a guy wanted him to win. And, I've had it before from other players, like when I'm playing other players, but you kind of look out and you kind of think, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like I'm up here trying to give you a great game and you just give me so much abuse. It's kind of not... not nice in a way. So
Yeah.
you kind of are on the back end of stuff like that, and it does put you off because then you're thinking about it, you kind of don't want to be up on the stage anymore. Then,
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I'm not, I'm not enjoying this. It's not an environment I want to be involved in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you kind of can't wait to get off, and it kind of confuses me how people come to darts and just want to put people off.
It's crazy, isn't it?
They can't be having a good time being all that het up and like screaming, can
well,
they?
I don't,
Like they're ruining their
kind of-
own.
Yeah, they're ruining their own fun. To be
Yeah.
honest. I think you do, like, we're talking about a sort of 2-3% here.
Yeah.
You know, I think when you come to darts, isn't the best thing ever just to see two of the best just absolutely ripping it up,
Yeah.
playing brilliant? You know,
Yeah.
I think some people just want to see like one player do really well, and I kind of think, why? You know, I'd rather, if I was a fan, want to see like his first to 6-5 and 105 averages, some epic games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best of the best. Yeah.
But obviously you want to see your favourite win 6-5.
Yeah, and I also don't think there's anything wrong with really like having your favourites and even potentially as long as you're not going to boo, but like, oh, I want this guy to lose or win. Like,
Yeah.
that's sport. That's the pantomime
Yeah.
pantomime of it all. And like obviously, but I think sometimes it goes too far as well. Like Gezi gets just like horrifically booed. Like, and I know he can be. People say he's a controversial character, but he's a lovely guy off the off.
He's
isn't
right.
he? Like,
He's just he's very like he's very quiet.
Yeah.
Off stage, he's okay. It's like Peter Wright. He's very quiet off stage, very exuberant on stage.
yeah.
But yeah, Gez he's fine, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's, obviously I know where it comes from. It comes from the Gerben Price Gary Anderson game, but in the Grand Slam.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think when you get that tag, it's kind of hard to get it.
Hard to shake it off.
I do feel bad for him that he has to go through with it because I can imagine if I'm walking up on the stage getting booed all the time, I kind of don't want to be there.
No.
I feel like you're
Definitely.
underappreciated because
Yeah.
without characters like him, everyone moans about there not being characters enough, and then you've got a
Exactly.
character,
Yeah.
and you want to
Exactly
boo
that.
him and kind of not want him. You kind of make him feel like you don't want to be there.
Exactly that. We know what history says. You won the World Championships. You played amazing. When I think you won on the 8-8, was
That's
it?
correct, yeah.
8-8. When that dart is in that 8, what are you thinking? What is the first thing goes in your head? It is a lovely moment seeing that raw emotion
Yeah.
spill out of you. You collapse to your knees,
Yeah.
don't you? But what's the first thing you remember thinking?
I think the first thing that goes through your mind is just thinking, fucking hell, I've done it. I'm world champ. This is a dream completed, and you kind of just want to capture the moment. You want to keep it. So for me, that's a good point, actually. Like the night before, when you were talking about when you led, you kind of think, what are you going to do if you win? What's the celebration going to be? They're things that actually do run through your mind. But the things that I was thinking that I was going to do never happened. I was thinking I was going to jump off to the side and really give it some, but it was kind of a relief in the end. I think that was why I dropped to my knees. And then obviously after you've won, you kind of want to show your opponent the respect. You don't want to like run off for like 30 seconds, And the great thing about Luke was as well, when we embraced, he said, go and enjoy it, go and celebrate.
Oh, did he?
Oh, that's
Really,
nice.
that was a really mature thing to do.
Yeah.
I thought he took defeat incredibly well,
Yeah.
considering, it must have been hard for him to take,
Yeah.
with being so close to winning. So yeah, that was a great moment for me. And then obviously after I'd shook everybody's hand, I embraced with Russ Bray as well.
Yeah,
because it was
legend.
It was his last ever professional calling game. And I was really proud that I was the one that won that last game because he did tip me to win it. And it was really, really nice to embrace him on. Then obviously went down to my family and sort of hugged everybody.
Yeah.
There was actually quite a funny picture that went around that obviously when I was hugging Kaylee, Gracie's arms were around there. Looked like she had 4 arms. It was quite a funny picture.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Looked like she had 4 arms. Gracie was in between us. We were hugging. There's like 4 arms around me. It looked like she had 4 arms. But that was quite funny, actually. It went quite viral, that did. But yeah, so we embraced and with all my family and, that moment I can remember of. It was something that you just want to capture up. And it's something that you want to, experience again because it really is special.